Hey, Rick from Ozark Living Homestead. Get ready to put in it's the next day now. Get ready to put in this PTO shaft. And first one of the things I noticed, this thing has been repaired or something done to it before. There was no gasket on it, and at one time or another, there was silicone, a gasket maker on it, because you can see it on the outside edges. But whoever did it the last time and put it together didn't put anything on it. So luckily, they had it tight enough, or it's just sealed up good enough that there was no leaks. And I was amazed that, there was nothing. It was a little tight. But they had no kind of gasket on it, gasket sealer, and as you can see, there's a little bit that was on the outside, but that was not sealing it up. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put some gasket sealer on it because I couldn't find a gasket. And to make sure I get this thing sealed up and there's no leaks. And what I got is this blue RTV gasket maker. And I've used this before on vehicles and stuff, so I know it works really good. And I just put a little on there, just enough to make sure I get this thing sealed up. Like I said, hopefully we can get this thing up and running today. I don't see why we can't. Once we get this in, get it bolted down, it shouldn't have any problem. And I put it, I don't know how you're supposed to put it, but I've always put it around the bolt, where the bolt's going. That way to make sure every surface is sealed. And especially like you're going to get any kind of leak in there. It's going to be hard to get any kind of leak. And I bought a big tube, because there's always things you can use on. I can use it on the lawnmower. I can use it on a lot of different things. So, all right, here we go. We're going to slide the shaft in there and see if we can get her bolted down. There we go. Yep, she went right on in. Now all we got to do is put all the bolts back in it and tighten her down. And we should be good to go. And put the fluids back in there, don't forget those. I've heard of people making that mistake. I've never personally made it. Come close a few times, but I've never actually did it. People forgetting to put a plug in and putting the fluids or the oil in, and it running right out on the ground. I was just actually talking to a neighbor about that this morning, about people doing that or have done that in the past. And he had mentioned he had done it once. But I personally have never done it. Like I said, I've come close a couple of times, but just happened to remember once I started to pour that I forgot to put the plug in. And right now, I have all three plugs out. So I got to get up under there. And actually, I'm looking at one now, so I know I got to get up under there and put all those plugs in. I'm going to try to get this done in this second video, finished up, and you guys can see it run. Let's see. Where's the rest of my bolts in here? I must have dropped some bolts. Yep, I see one of them down there. Oh, there it is. That little odd-shaped one or different one or whatever. I actually think that's a metric bolt. Because the 5/8 didn't fit exactly right on it, but it fit on it enough, it actually got it off. Excuse me. I got my trusty paper towel here to clean off the surfaces before I put that gasket maker on there. There we go. And this is a little shorter one, so I know it's a different one. This one shouldn't have been here. Someone probably lost it, or who knows. But it fits and it tightens down, so that's all that matters. Okay. That's about 5/8. Go ahead and get this one first. It's 11/16. That's the one that keeps slipping. That may even be a 5/8 there too. Yep. There's 2 different size bolts in here. Threads are the same, but the both ends themselves were different. Right. Alright guys, almost there. It's like my spark plug socket here. Yep, there's 2 different size bolts there. Make sure I have everything tight. Okay guys, I've got that in there. Feels good, it's tight. I'm gonna go ahead and climb under it. I'm gonna cut the camera off for a few seconds and get under there and put these plugs in, and then we'll pour some fluid in it and see. Hopefully we won't have no problems and she'll run. Alright guys, be back in a second. Okay guys, I decided to see if I could get this camera under here, and I got a very short adjustable tripod here, and it actually is setting the lowest I can get it, but it actually is working. So I got the plug already there. It's just finger tight. It's not even finger tight, it's just barely in there. But this is the front plug that goes to the transmission, and it's just a 5/8 wrench, and this one actually had very hard time taking out. It was very tight. In fact, I had to use a cheater bar on it to get it broke loose, because it just would not come loose. I could not get enough leverage on it to turn this thing. And for anyone that doesn't know what a cheater bar is, it's just a small piece of pipe that makes it a little bit longer, so you can actually get some reach on it and help break them loose. Works wonders. But anyway, just put it back as tight as I can get it. Not as tight as someone else had it, but again, this is the one that goes to the transmission. And then I've got 2 more to go. Just want to make sure, and I'll go back and double check all these after I get them full and get it running good and get all that fluid and everything heated up to make sure that nothing is leaking here. So, all right, guys, I want to see if I can reposition the camera here and get the hydraulic chamber here. All right, be back 1 second. Okay, guys, actually got it in position. We're actually doing pretty good, and this is the hydraulic chamber that I'm fixing to put this plug in on this one. Then I got to do the rear end back there. Then I can start putting the fluids in it. So it's a little uncomfortable, and I'm a big guy, and this tractor is really not that high. You know, a lot of the tractors are a lot higher, but this one's not. So I'm laying on a piece of old plywood and an old tarp that's full of holes. But I've already cleaned the plug. I always clean the plug because there's always a bunch of junk on the end of it. And a lot of them actually they're magnetized a little. So they'll catch any little pieces of metal, shavings or anything that you'll get in your transmission, rear end or whatever. And they'll collect them and hold them there. So anytime you're changing your own oil or anything like that, make sure you clean that off before you put it back. Pretty tight. I think I got it. Slide out of here a little bit. Get more leverage. Okay, guys. Got that one tight, getting tight. We'll go ahead and slide out from under here so I can go to the rear end and put that one in. And then we can start putting some fluid in it. All right, guys, be back in just a second. Okay, y'all. I'm getting ready to put the fluids back in, and this is where the hydraulic fluid will go. I've actually already broken all these loose, and so they're just kind of finger tight. And this is the fill plug where you'll fill it with hydraulic fluid. And I'm gonna go ahead and take these off so you guys can see. Now this one has a dipstick. Let's see if we can get down here. So you can tell when you have enough in there. You can actually see it on the dipstick here. But the rest of them actually just have a fill plug. Now this is the transmission here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one off. Like I said, I've already loosened them all up. And I'm just gonna set them up, and this is where you actually fill them up at. But the fill plug is on the other side, and I'm gonna walk around and show you guys. This one back here, sorry about that, is, let me get my other hand in here. This one is actually the rear end, the axle. And it's right up on the edge of the seat there, so I got a little small funnel. It's gonna be a little hard to get. I'm not gonna film putting the fluids in because I'm not gonna have, I only got 2 hands, so it's gonna take 2 hands to get all this done, but that's where you fill it at. Now, this is the fill plug for the axle, the rear end here. And again, I've already loosened all these. And what you do is you start filling it, and when it just starts to run out of that hole, you know you got enough in there, and you just put your plug back in. All right. Then we'll go around. Let's see if we can get around here without tripping. Okay. Now, as I mentioned on the other side, this is the fill plug. the little plug where you check it at. For the transmission down here, same thing. When you've got enough fluid in there, it'll start leaking out the side, and you'll know you have enough in here. And then you just put your plugs back in and tighten them back down. The hydraulic chamber over there is the only one that actually has a dipstick, and I'll have to keep an eye on that as I fill it to make sure I'm putting enough in there or not putting too much in there. So, all right, guys. Once I get that all filled and everything, I'll crank it up and see where we're at.